Hi, my army. Are we ready for something fun and different today? Today we're going to take a step left and we are going to talk about a subject I have a lot of information on. And in fact, my girlfriend just asked me about over the weekend. So I thought, you know what, if she's asking me, other people might want to know too. So we're just going to use the tips I gave her to share with you guys. This is toy care. Yes, I know. Toys. Toys are always fun, and no, I don't mean like figurines. Our fun toys. How do we care for them? How do we make them last? How do we make sure that they are going to be safe and fun for as long as possible? Well, there are a few tricks and tips I have for you guys. So first and foremost, something super key for toy care is keeping them in a safe, dry environment. Now, I don't mean dry like dehydrate the area or like put in like a dehumidifier. I just mean you don't want them out and about. You don't want them collecting dust, getting dirt on them. You don't want them in something wet. You don't want to put them away wet. I keep mine in a stackable thin drawer unit where they each are in a drawer with a tea towel inside that I take out and wash the tea towel routinely and put a new one in. I like to make sure, and it's most important, especially if you're liking silicone, rubberized, or some of the plastic toys, you're going to want to make sure that they're not touching. When you have silicone or another plastic, or plastic and plastic, and they touch, they will actually create a chemical reaction with each other that will cause them to break down. One will tend to go wobbly, wiggly, squiggly, ooky, melt in that area. The other one might get a different discoloration in that area. Once they have touched and started to do this, they are no longer safe, which means you should get rid of them at that point. So to prevent that, what I do is I put my toys, probably say forward or a drawer. I will put like a silicone one, a glass toy, another silicone or rubberized one, and like a hard plastic one that I know won't leach or won't melt the one beside it. That way I am creating separation between types and kinds of toys. Why only 4 to a drawer? Well, that's easy. Sure, I could cram 6 or 7 or 10 in there if I wanted to, but then they'll be touching and there's no breathable space around them. Certain toys, certain types of plastics, I want to say they sweat. So you don't really want them touching. You want enough space that you're not worried about things getting dirty from touching other things. The breathable space also allows the chemicals and the plastic, rubber, silicone to sit as it would like and not be interfered with, which is important. Bags are another great tool you can use as well. If you don't have the space to provide alternating the types of toys, little bags are key. Quite a few toys will come with them. I'm sure if you go on Amazon, you could probably find sex toy bags that are available for purchase. These are great. You put them around your silicone toy and then you put it in your drawer. That said, you still don't want it butting up to each other because it could technically still create a leaching kind of melting problem between the material, but at least that helps to prevent touching. Now, putting them in those kind of cloth bags is totally fine. 1 per bag. Do not put them into a plastic bag. You don't want to put them in a Ziploc bag. You don't want to put a whole bunch of them in a Ziploc bag. Even if you're wrapping them in a towel and then sticking them in a large Ziploc bag and having a few of them, that's a no-no. When they're inside the plastic bag, the plastics themselves can react with the plastic that the bag is made from, and you're not allowing any airflow, so those can't dissipate, and you're creating one big bag full of melt, pretty much. No fun. You don't want that. To keep your toys clean, what I like to do is once you receive a new toy, I automatically always wash it. They always have a little bit of residue or powder on them and such from the manufacturing process. So I make sure to wash them very thoroughly to remove that. I dry them on a clean towel and then put them away in the drawer. Now, before every use, I take out that toy and I will give it a light wash. So I'll run it under warm water for quite a while. I'll use a little bit of soap. You want to be careful what soaps you use. You don't want to use anything really abrasive. You don't want to use anything that's rubbing alcohol based because for certain plastics and silicone, it will react with them. I like to use the Dove Sensitive Bar Soap because I find it's the most simple and easy on my toys. So wash before every use and wash after use. Then you ensure it's never dirty, it's never not clean that's going down there. Even like your Hitachi or a vibrator toy that you're putting just on your clit or your outsides, you still are going to want to give it a wash because it still will get fluids, sweat, etc. on it, and those will not last very long. They will it's bacteria. It's not good for you. Don't do it. Basically. Now, as of lubricant goes, if you are using a silicone toy, or for a lot of the real feel kind of rubberized toys, you're going to want to use only a water-based lubricant. Because if you use a silicone-based lubricant with a silicone toy, it will react while you're using it, it will break down the compounds, and eventually that toy will just no longer be good, and it will leach chemicals into you, in fact, which is very bad. You don't want that. My favorite lube is a Wet Light. It's the perfect kind of like combination of it doesn't really smell like anything, it tastes just a tiny bit sweet, it comes off and goes on things super easily, and is readily and easily available. Once you have a toy that has leached, ripped, has a tear in it, has like a wobbly bit, has a color transfer on it, it is time to get rid of that toy. Feel free to keep it so that you can take a picture of it and use it as reference to find the exact same toy online for yourself, but that toy itself should not be used anymore. Once the outside layer of the toy has broken down in some way, from leaching, melting, ripping, tearing, etc., you're now being exposed to different parts of the plastic that might not have been meant to be on the outside and come in contact with your flesh. So that's a bad idea. Time to just move on. You don't want any irritation happening down there, especially when you're playing, because you can get tears, rips, you can chafe it down there. And for a lot of people, if the toy is started to have issues, it can irritate your special areas, causing extreme discomfort. And for a lot of people, it can become something that if you irritate it enough, now your body reacts instantly to all toys, which just ruins all the fun, right? So once it's melted, ripped, teared, transferred, colored, it's time to throw it away. Woohoo! Time for a new toy, right? Right. Look on the bright side. How long can you hang on to a toy for? Well, that depends on the toy. And I would like to say the more expensive toys definitely last longer. Not necessarily. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. It really comes down to what they're made of. A glass toy is basically going to last forever. Unless you drop it, crack it, or something like that, it's good to go. Some of your hard plastic toys, they'll last for a decent amount of time. Sometimes a lot of plastics can get harder over time, or they can break down, and then the color fades, or there's an issue with it, and it's time to get rid of them then. As for your cyber skins, your silicone, those ones, they do have a shelf life. Because eventually the compounds do break down just from being in the atmosphere, for coming in contact with stuff, from being in the same airspace as other toys. So, I've derived a test that works for me. Try it out for yourself and see if it works. For me, I know what toys are going to irritate me down there by a very simple lick test. Yes, I said lick. If I take that toy, a dildo, whatever, if I take it and before I'm going to give it its little rinse wash thing before I'm going to use it, so I know it's gone away clean, I will lick it. Why do I lick it? If it started to leach a compound of some kind that's going to irritate my sensitive skin down there, if I lick it, my tongue within the next 10 to say 30 seconds, usually it's closer to 10, will start to feel tingly and weird. If that happens, that toy is no good no more. Bye-bye. It has to go. Yes, I know some of your favorite toys, that means they have to go. Yet again, take a picture, find them online, and order a new one. Then you're not missing out on the fun, but you know that you're keeping yourself healthy and clean and safe down there. One other thing to note with toys is that using the same toy during the same experience, while yes, you're not necessarily sharing the same member, condoms aren't a bad idea because any fluids that end up on the toy and then that toy is directly used by another person, you are exchanging those fluids, and that is where STIs, bacteria, and infections can spread. So never a bad idea to give it a wash between, get 2 different toys, 1 for each person. You just try to be as conscientious as you can. Not always the easiest during fun situations. But there you guys have it. Those are my tips and tricks I've come up with. So I hope that you can gather from them what you should and maybe shouldn't do for your toys for their health moving forward. Ideally, you don't want to put them all into one gigantic duffel bag and just zip it up and barely look at it, because you're going to have problems. You don't want to lock them away in a giant Ziploc bag all mangled together, because they're not going to survive. Try to be as friendly and nice to your toys as you might be to a partner. You never know, if they're your favorite, you kind of don't want them to go ook, right? They're kind of just as important to you as maybe a partner. Maybe not quite as important, but you know. So I hope that helps, guys. For more fun tips, feel free to comment below and let me know what you might want me to comment about next. And please don't forget to click the subscribe button, because then you'll get all the other videos related to this one. Thank you for watching, guys, and have a great night.